So when we control this far side lapel, what kind of control do I have here? It's not a fucking trick question, guys. What am I controlling here? The shoulder. The shoulder, yes. You guys feel like when you're in school back in the day, like you didn't want to get the answer wrong? I know you guys did. Okay, so since we have the jacket on, we're training in the gi, it's a good idea to use that far side lapel as a control, okay? So I can keep that far side shoulder off the mat. So obviously in no gi I don't have control of that lapel, but since we have the gi, we can use that lapel to control the shoulder and stop that shoulder from coming off the mat. So for example, in no gi, if we're chest to chest, we usually have a cross-face underhook. But that cross-face underhook doesn't really stop that shoulder from coming off the mat, right? So if we were here like this, you can easily work to take this shoulder off the mat. Yeah, exactly. You start to move from here. So when we have control of this lapel, we control that shoulder, we can pin that shoulder down to the mat, but then we can use our hand, our free hand, to work with. Okay, so again, we're gonna go back to controlling that far side lapel, controlling that shoulder, and we're gonna set up. We're gonna look to set up an armbar attack. We're gonna spend some time with this armbar because it's a little bit different. It's a lat armbar. We have to make sure everything's precise when we do this. So when I say lat armbar, the arm is actually stuck behind your lat armpit, and we have to make sure that we have really a good control of the elbow when we set this up. Okay, and then we're gonna look at a transition from side control and probably work to get to the back from there. Okay, so the first thing is, for the bottom person, they're gonna have good defensive posture. They should have frames underneath here, they should have their elbows tight, and they should have their knees up. Now, the problem that I run into, if I'm chest to chest and I'm on top, is this near side hand. This near side hand should be checking my hip, right? If I can get his arm shoved up against my hip, then it could be easy transitions to arm bars, attacks, getting into mount, all that. But I have to focus on getting rid of this near side arm. So if he had his elbows in tight like this, I wanna get my hip underneath his elbow. But if he's flat on the mat like this and his shoulders are flat, it's extremely hard for me to get my hip under his elbow. But if I can turn his hips away and get this shoulder off the mat, then I can get my hip under his elbow. So if I can turn his knees in this direction, see how his elbow starts to come up? I can get my hip underneath the elbow and start to isolate this near side arm, okay? So we start chest to chest with our partner. We're gonna look at opening up the lapel. Now, when I feed the lapel to this cross-face hand, I wanna make sure that my palm is down. I'm not going palm up. So I open up his lapel, I feed the grip, and now I have to make sure that I keep pressure, so I make sure I pull my elbow back so that my shoulder goes over my hand. I want this kind of pressure here, okay? So this is gonna be my cross-face from this position. Now my right hand is gonna come back, I'm gonna check his hip. So when I pummel my right hand back, don't do this, so he catches your arm and then you're stuck in a triangle. When I pummel my hand back, my elbow stays by his hip, and then I pummel my hand across, and I follow through my elbow and my shoulder from this position. Then once I get my shoulder down, now we're gonna work on killing the hips and getting our hip underneath the arm. So let's just turn this way so they can see everything. So when we get to here, he has his elbow tight to my hip. I'm gonna walk his hips in this direction, and I follow up with my hip, so it looks like this. Then I turn my hip over. So don't overdo it, guys. A lot of times you get to here like this and you'll start to get off balance. As soon as I feel like I'm gonna get tilted over, I just turn my hip over. And now I use my hip to scrape his arm up in this position. And I keep my elbow nice and tight, okay? So I use that turning of the hips to get my hip underneath his arm and shove his arm up against my hip on this side. And now we're gonna look at, because we created so much space between his elbow and his hip and his knee, starting to slide our knee across. So when I get to here, keep everything tight. When I get to here, I'm gonna take my right knee, I'm gonna start to slide it across here, okay? My left leg is gonna go up against his back. So by bringing my knee behind his shoulders, it stops him from bridging. So if his shoulder's on the mat, he's gonna have an easier time bridging, but if I take my knee and I shove it underneath his back, he'll have a hard time bridging from here. Now, if he does absolutely nothing, I can underhook the arm and start to climb into mount. He's probably gonna address this. He's probably gonna stop my knee from coming across. So I'm just gonna take my hand and use a V grip and then punch his hand down. Once I punch his hand down, my head is gonna go over his head. I'm gonna look to throw my right leg over his shoulder. So we have options of setting up the triangle from here, but we're gonna go right into that armbar. So I block, head goes over the head so that my right leg is nice and light, and now I can pass my leg over here. But as soon as we pass our leg over, this is where we have to be precise with this armbar. I have to take my hand off the collar. I'm gonna look to take my elbow back and catch his elbow on this side. But I reinforce it with my leg. So when I take my left hand and I catch his elbow, I'm gonna look to slide my left knee all the way up. So my left foot steps on top of my right. My left knee, or the inside of my thigh, is behind my hand. And my elbow is gonna stay closed here. So we don't have to pass our leg over. I'm just gonna scissor, pinch my knees tight, close my elbow, sorry.
So
and then it's gonna be really tight from here, okay? And I just drive my elbow back as I bring my hip forward, okay? Now, like, notice where my chest is. My chest is gonna be facing his head, okay? I want my chest facing this direction. My left knee slides up as high as I can. So right now, if I drive my hips forward, nothing happens. So I continue to slide my knee up until my hand and my hip meet and I step. Now, I pinch my knees, close my elbow, his hand is stuck behind my armpit towards my lat, and then we can finish the arm lock from here. And guys, the good thing is, because obviously I might get off balance from this position, we have follow-up attacks where we can continue to armbar or we can go into the triangle from here, okay? But I want you guys really try to finish this arm lock from this position where I'm sitting on top of my partner. So again, so here we open up the lapel, I feed the grip, palm down, and then I pull my elbow back. I pull my hand back and I check his hip. So now the goal is to shelf his near side arm up against my hip. So as I walk to my right towards his hips, I turn my hip over. And now I can use this to scrape his arm up. Now I've cleared enough space for my knee to go across his belly. At the same time I do that, I fold my left leg behind his back here. And now I can take my knee up. And then once I take my knee up and he goes to block, I take my hand to his wrist, I push his wrist down, I bring my head over, and now I can pass my leg over his head so that my knee ends up over his shoulder on this side. My right hand will be posted. So now I can release the grip. Once I release the grip, I just slide my hand from the lapel to his elbow. I rotate so I get my elbow clamping down. His hand should be stuck inside my armpit, and I slide my knee up and then step. So left foot steps on top of right, and I drive my hips in to finish from here. Now, if you feel like you're gonna get off balance, okay, my forehead's gonna go down to the mat and my left hip, my outside hip, starts to turn down. So if I feel like I'm gonna fall over in this direction, keep everything tight, head goes down, and I just continue to drop my hip in this direction. Do not turn, and it's not to say it's wrong, because I can definitely go for other things, but try not to turn towards your partner's head, because now he's gonna posture up, and I might lose, lift your head up, I might lose the position. So it's easier to turn towards the hips to finish. So I look towards his legs to get that finish. What does his lapel do? Shoulder, shoulder. Controls the shoulder. It's open, I drive my shoulder forward, hand comes down, we check that hip. I'm walking towards his hips just so that I can shelf his near side arm up against my hip. So I kill the hips in this direction, I turn my hip over, walk everything up, head over his head. At the same time, I get my knee on top of his chest, and then we catch the wrist. So this is just a block. I block, pass everything over, post my hand. And now at the same time, I let go of that lapel, I just transition to the elbow, slide my knee up, step, I'm just stacking my feet as I close my elbow from this side. Again, if you're off balance and you feel like you're falling over, post and turn your hip down towards the mat.
Question, just moving your hips, you're not moving your arm at all.
Just adjust my hip. Everything's locked in place. So when you grab, you're constantly just taking that elbow and opening it up. So when I open his elbow, it closes my elbow. And then lengthens out his arm. So you have to make sure, this is why it's a lat armbar, because that hand is stuck on the armpit by the lat, and we keep everything tight. But the hip pressure has to come off of when you lift your knee up and your hand or your hip goes behind your hand so you can drive your hips forward. Let's mess this up. This one's hard.
Can you do it from us now?
Can you do this? Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to throw it.
No, absolutely. Absolutely, you can just, yeah. So if you get high up and both arms are above the head, it's just that you're going to have to look to, the thing with S-mount, usually guys' arms are like this, so you're going to have to swim your hand inside and then get to the elbow. You definitely can. Anyone want to see it again, or we're good? Marcus? Yes, Marcus! Okay. Break my arm. One more time, Open, you feed the lapel, punch your hand through, okay? Guys, for the new guys, I can care less if you guys get the arm bar. I just want you thinking about control right now. So again, this hand that's on the lapel really controls that far shoulder. It's a great grip to have because I have a free hand to work with. But also thinking about killing your partner's hips, because if his knees face me, he recovers the guard. So if I have this hand checking his hip, go ahead, he can't get his knees to the inside. As long as I keep my shoulders lower than his knees. So if I place my hand on the mat but I do this, his knees go to the inside. So I just want you thinking, especially for the new guys, again, that armbar is great, but if we can get to these positions where we're controlling the person first, that's what we want. We want to focus on shelving that arm. So we walk, turn my hip, get to here. You got this, Marcus. Ready? 1, 2, 3, let's go. Now take your right hand, pummel it back, check his hip. Walk to your right, keep walking until your hip goes past the elbow line. Now I want you to turn your hip and scrape his arm up. Turn your hip though, turn your hip. Now scrape it, scrape it, scrape it, scrape it. Good. Now slide your knee up to your elbow. Good. Now once you get to here, I want you to take your right knee to his belly and chest. Good. He's going to block the knee because he doesn't want you to mount. I want you to take your hand, place it on top of his wrist. Good. Now, high step over, bring your right leg underneath his head. Good. Now look, let your knee slide under his head. Freeze. Now, left hand goes to his elbow. Elbow. All right. Take your right hand to the mat. Go. It's a lat armbar. You want this underneath. Catch his elbow. Slide up towards his elbow. Close your elbow. Turn your chest that way more. Now I want you to take your left foot, step on top of your right. Okay. Now get your ass off him a little bit. Now throw your hip in as you bring your elbow back. As I'm saying, you have to be precise with this. Everything has to be tight. Split, take your right knee to the mat. Now go. Now take your left hand to his elbow. Rotate it, close your elbow. Now drive your hip behind your hand. You slide your left knee higher too. Yeah. Get your hand closer to his elbow. Clamp your elbow back. I want you to slide this even higher so that your thigh meets your hand. Throw your hip in as you crunch, like an oblique crunch back. Yeah, because Daddy's here. Hello.
Wait, so what you need, like,
I don't think you had your elbow when you were doing it.
So you're doing like this. You're doing it like a crunch, oblique crunch.
because I was pulling it like that and nothing happened.
It's
I was like pulling it back.
It's not just
No, it's not just it's a combination of your elbow going back and your hips driving in. Your hips driving into the arm. Isolate this. Here, slide it across. Here, block, step over, let that knee touch the mat. Shoot it all the way through. Now post your hand. Good. Let your knee go inside so your pit catches his neck. Now, step. Sorry, before you step, catch his elbow with your left hand. Good. Yep. You want to make sure the point of his elbow is in the middle of your palm. Good. Now stack your feet. Turn yourself this way. Close your elbow. Drive your hip into his elbow. Why can't you get this?
I mean, I'm getting it, but like,
We're not doing this now.
No, but what's the... Like, you can technically get to this position without controlling the shoulder.
What?
Can you not? You can do this without controlling the shoulder without the lapel.
Without the lapel. Well, you can do it in any situation where you can shelf the arm. Because when the arm is shelved, it's inside your lats, inside your armpit. So that's why this is available. Yeah. What do you do?
What do I do? I don't know. So it's not even a slap, just grab.
Time, hold on 1 second. You're probably gonna be able to see this better. So, when you're controlling your partner's elbow, so if you grab your own elbows right now, you're gonna feel there's two notches. Grab it. There's the notch on one side, the notch on the other side. So, the sweet spot is the point of your partner's elbow is to the center of your palm. The point of the elbow to the center of your palm, and you're able to grab your thumb and your middle finger and your pointer finger. That's what you're grabbing here, okay? So when we get here, let's say I shelf this up, I got his gi, I killed the hips, he could do all this, I step over. Now look, when I clear this arm, because I need my right leg light, my head has to go over his head so that I can pass my leg over, but I want the bend of my arm to catch, or the bend of my leg to catch his neck. Here. Now, this is where the transition has to be quick. Because if I stay here, just turn your whole arm down, like hug my hip. That's what's gonna happen. So as soon as we pass this over, I slide up with my hand and my leg at the same time. So look at the inside of his arm. The inside of his arm is facing out in this direction. I have the notch of his elbow here. The point of his elbow is to the middle of my palm. I continue to slide my leg up, so if I have my knee down, I can't get it. You can get it, but it's a lot harder. So I reinforce my hand with my hip. That's why I'm stepping and stacking here. So now I can drive my hips forward. See where my head is? My head is by his hip. I can lengthen out his arm. Some of you guys like this. So by pulling my head towards his hips, I lengthen out his arm. Slowly just driving my hips, oh, so sorry. Okay, so if I stay close to his head, head over head, see how he can move his arm around? But if I pull my head towards his hips, I can lengthen out his arm and then finish the arm lock. So when I'm grabbing, you can sit up 1 second. So when I grab, put a bend in your arm, the point of his elbow to my palm, and I grab the notch of his elbow. So if you guys are training no gi, these are the grips you need. Okay, I can't grab a hold of his gi. So if we were doing no gi, this is the grip you need. If you want elbow control, this is the grip. Okay, it's the same exact grip. His hand is in my lat and I rotate this. So now my hip will stop his shoulder from moving and then I can drive everything into my hand. I love this song. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Great song. Let's look at a transition to the back, okay? So guys, so understand this. It's gonna look fancy. This is definitely like a party trick. This is definitely like one of those, like okay. At a higher level, I probably wouldn't do this. But I have done this in competition and got to somebody's back. But that was like a pro belt. So I would definitely not, I wouldn't do it now. But it is a good transition to the back, but I said it's like it's definitely like a party trick. Like it's unnecessary. But it looks really cool and you could definitely get there and catch the person by surprise when you do this. As we transition our knee across our partner's belly, I'm gonna punch the underhook and I'm gonna look to take my knee across as if I'm going to mount. But the problem with going to mount from there is my partner's knees are already facing in that direction. So most likely they're gonna catch your foot and you're gonna end up in like a 3/4 mount. So if he has my foot trapped while I'm mounted, it's a 3/4 mount. So with that foot trapped is where we're gonna take the back. So it's a rolling back take. We're gonna focus on rolling towards our partner's hips. When we do this, we just wanna make sure that we're hooking our partner's top leg with our foot. So we're here. Thank you. We get to here. I walk everything to the side. I shelf that up. I slide my knee across. This time, let's just say I punch an underhook and I'm able to walk this arm up and now start to transition to mount. But because his knees are facing in this direction, as I slide my knee across, exactly. So he catches my foot. So now, with the problem with staying here in this position, it's a little bit easier for him to get my knee into half guard. Okay, because my knees I'm light in this position. If he slips his elbow to the inside, he can get my knee into half guard. So anytime I get put into a 3/4 mount position, I'm on top, I always think it's a good idea to go backwards. So get myself lower than my partner's hips. So I'm gonna look to take my left knee and bring it underneath his hip, behind his hamstring. So it's gonna look like this, here. So I'm almost like in a leg riding position. So if he tries to push my knee in between his legs to get to half guard, it's a lot harder from this position. Now, my right foot, the foot that's stuck in between his legs, is gonna hook his top leg. So I take the laces of my foot and I hook his top leg, okay? This is important, otherwise if I go for the roll, I'm gonna have a hard time getting or staying connected to him. So when I get to here, just make sure that my right foot hooks his top leg. My left knee stays behind his hamstring on this side. Now I'm gonna look to get two arms on the same side. So I just wanna take my right hand that's in front of him and I wanna bring it past his hips in this direction. The closer I get to his hips, the easier this transition is. So if I'm high up by his shoulders, I'm gonna have a hard time getting this. So I walk my hands towards his hips here. I should be past his hip line. Now from here, I'm gonna look to drop to my right shoulder. It's not a forward roll. A lot of guys this morning would think it's a forward roll. I just drop to my shoulder and I drop to my back. At the same time I drop to my shoulder and to my back, my hand is gonna catch his foot. So as I drop to my shoulder, I drop to my back and I catch his foot. So I'm just stopping him from moving. So I'm just gonna secure this foot here. And we have options, guys. You can attack this leg locks in here. We're just gonna look to take the back in this position. So I lock a figure 4 from here. So you have two options. I can either lock a figure 4 or I could stack my feet. Kind of depends on how big the person is. If they're really big and I have to push their hips, I'll stack my feet. If not, I'll just lock a figure 4 from this position. And now I'm gonna look to chop my leg straight down so I don't lose the position, I can get to his back. I have to make sure that my outside hand catches this arm. So as I chop my legs down, my left hand is gonna catch his arm. Now I'm gonna use this to pull his back to my chest and then get my arm directly underneath. And then we can connect our hands in this position. Now because his hips are high here, so notice where his hips are, they're riding high, I wanna get my hips higher than his. So I can either post on the mat or use my knee up against his hip to get my hips higher. So essentially I just wanna get my head higher than his head. So when I get to here, I'm gonna post, hip escape out, slide myself up, and then look to insert my second hook to the inside. Again. So we get to here, I have his lapel, check the hip, turn my hip over, slide everything across, I punch the underhook, I start to transition to mount, but he catches my foot here. So once he catches my foot, I just take my left knee and I bring it behind his hamstring. And I take everything down here. So I'm sitting on top of his legs. I have his knees pinned and I'm sitting on top of his knees here. I'm keeping them pinned together. My right foot, if you notice, is hooking his top leg. And I just bring my knee on top of my foot. So just here and here. Now I want to get 2 hands on the same side. So I bring my hand that's in front of his chest over to this side. Now if I try to do it from here, you're gonna have a hard time lifting your partner's hips. So if I go like this with my upper body towards his back and chest, I'm gonna struggle to lift here. So I have to make sure I'm down towards his hips, I dip my elbow, dip my shoulder, and then we catch the foot here, okay? Now when I start to chop my partner over, it's important that my outside hand catches his arm. I don't wanna chop and then lose the position. He'll end up on top. So if I just go like this, perfect, yes. Okay, let's go back. So when I chop, this left hand catches his arm, so I make a hook, and I'm able to pull his back to my chest. Here. My arm goes over, we connect our hands, hip escape out, and then get that second hook. Okay? So open, shelf, punch the underhook, I start to transition to mount, but I get stuck in a 3/4 mount and I slide everything back. So I'm in a position where I'm riding his legs and I'm pinning his knees together. My foot is gonna hook his top leg, 2 hands come over, I'm low, past his hip. So this is hip line, I'm past his hip line, I dip my shoulder, I'm looking towards his feet as I catch his trunk. We chop, and we get right to the back. Ready? 1, 2, 3. What kind of basics class is this? So look, your knee is out. So take your knee out. Alex, help him. Help him. You don't. Put you on someone else. Okay. Now slide yourself back. Yep. Now walk your hands to me. Keep walking. Keep walking. Keep walking. Now roll through. Yep. Go. Good. Take your left arm. Just catch it. Hip escape out. Don't pull him across your body. Every motherfucking white belt does this. Hip escape out. Yeah. Keep up a little bit more. Oh, that's good. There you go.